Hello, in this video we are going to talk about geography and natural landscapes. Let's start with land. The basic forms of landscape are a desert, a valley, a plain, a shrubland, a forest, a hill, a mountain. In a desert, the landscape is barren, which means there is little or no vegetation. The surface is covered with sand that piles up into dunes, and there are often sandstorms. Another type is a stone desert, which surface looks like a mosaic. A valley is a low area of land between hills or mountains. There is often a river or a stream flowing through it. A plain is a flat landform that is often found along the bottom of a valley, or it may be a vast expanse of land encircled by hills or rising to a plateau. Plains are typically grassland, steppe, savanna, or tundra. Shrubland, also known as scrubland, scrub, brush, or bush, is an area dominated by shrubs, bushes, and it may cover a valley or a plain. But even in a desert, there may be patches of shrubs that are adapted to arid land and dry climate. By the way, the land itself, or to be more exact, the soil, may be fertile, sand, rocky, arid, which means dry, not fertile, rich, or poor. Forests cover 31% of the global land area. More than half of the world's forests are found in only 5 countries: the Russian Federation, Canada, Brazil, the United States of America, and China. There are different types of forests depending on latitudes and elevations. Boreal forests around the poles, tropical forests around the equator, and temperate forests at the middle latitudes. They are also distinguished by dominant tree type: broadleaf trees, coniferous trees, also called needle-leaved or evergreen, or mixed. For example, boreal forests are generally coniferous, while temperate forests are broadleaf or mixed. A forest is made up of several layers. The main ones are the forest floor, the understory, and the canopy. Rainforests are exposed to high and continuous rainfall. A dense forest, usually tropical, with tangled vegetation covering a huge land area, is often referred to as a jungle. Deforestation is the massive destruction of trees, mainly due to agriculture and pollution. This is a huge problem because it leads to the loss of biodiversity and extinction of animals. Unlike a forest, a woodland covers a smaller area and is less dense. However, the phrase "in the woods" means the same as "in the forest", and it is more common for American English. What's the difference between a hill, a mountain, a rock, and a cliff? A hill is not as high as a mountain. A mountain is much larger than a hill and much steeper. A typical mountain has a base, a slope, a crest, and a peak, also called a summit. There might also be a glacier and a volcano. A group of mountains is called a mountain range. The highest mountain on Earth is Mount Everest in the Himalayas, which rises 8,850 meters above sea level, and the longest mountain range is the Andes, stretching over 7,000 kilometers. Please note that a single mountain name is used without an article, and the name of a mountain range goes with a definite article. For example, Mount Fuji, Mount Kilimanjaro, Denali, the Andes, the Alps, the Urals. A cliff is a tall vertical rock formation. They are typically found near the ocean, sea cliffs, but also may be high in mountains or in canyons and valleys. A rock may be just a stone, but another meaning of the word is matter, which forms mountains and cliffs. And now let's talk about aquatic ecosystems. They can be marine and freshwater. Marine ecosystems include oceans and seas which have salt water, and freshwater ecosystems are lakes, ponds, streams, rivers, springs, and wetlands. A wetland is a land area flooded by water, or you can also say saturated with water, either permanently or seasonally, with plants that are adapted to the hydric soil. The main wetland types include swamps, marshes, bogs, and fens. What's the difference between them? Swamps are filled with trees, whereas marshes don't have them, only grass and herbs. Swamps and marshes are low wetlands, but bogs are generally higher than the surrounding land, very poor of nutrients with stagnant water. Fens are similar to bogs, but they have a wide variety of plant life, and the water level in the fen can rise and fall slightly over time. The word stream is often used interchangeably with the word river, though rivers are larger than streams. Small streams are called a brook or a creek. A spring is a place where water flows out from an underground source. As I said before, larger streams are called a river. All rivers have a river source, the place where a river starts, and a river mouth, the place where the river enters the sea or the ocean. Riverbed is the channel in which a river flows, and the land on either side of the river is called a riverbank. Some rivers flow year-round, others only during certain seasons or when there has been a lot of rain. The largest rivers on Earth are the Nile, the Amazon, the Yangtze. We usually use the definite article with the names of rivers. Anyway, only about 3% of Earth's water is fresh water. Of that, only 1.2% can be used as drinking water, and the rest is in glaciers, permafrost, or deep underground. That's why rivers are so precious for life. Lakes contain water that is surrounded by land on all sides. They can be closed when the water does not flow out of the lake and open when there is a river or a stream flowing out. Small lakes are called ponds. Lakes can also be salty, like seas and oceans. The largest lake on Earth is actually called sea because of its size, the Caspian Sea. And the deepest one is Lake Baikal in Russia, in some places going down as far as 2 kilometers. The names of lakes typically go without article. The exceptions are the Great Salt Lake, the Lake of the Woods, and the Great Lakes, which include 5 lakes. What we call a sea is a portion of the ocean that is partly surrounded by land. There are about 50 seas in the world that are part of the global ocean. The boundaries between the oceans have evolved for a variety of different reasons. So now on the map you can see the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean and the Arctic Ocean. However, most countries, including the United States, now recognize the Southern or Antarctic as the 5th ocean. The names of oceans and seas take the definite article. Other words that are associated with seas and oceans are a gulf, a bay, a strait, a channel. A bay is a part of the coast where the land curves in and surrounds the seas on 3 sides. For instance, the Bay of Bengal. A gulf is much larger than a bay, for example, the Gulf of Mexico. A strait is a narrow area of sea that connects 2 larger areas of sea, like the Strait of Gibraltar. An island is a piece of land surrounded by water, and a group of islands that form a cluster is called an archipelago. For example, the Galapagos Islands or the Japanese archipelago. So groups of islands are used with a definite article, and a single island, Greenland, goes without any article. And this is all for now. I hope you found this video useful, and I'm waiting for your questions and any response in the comments. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do that right now. Goodbye!